Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I am going to show you how to obtain all run weapons in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Run weapons are the ultimate weapons in the game, and they are basically the level 8 weapons for each weapon category. To get them, you need to complete challenges from 10 separate battles on the Ultimate Warrior difficulty. Some of these challenges are quite hard, and I recommend you to be at least level 70 before attempting these challenges. I recommend that you follow the sequence of how I collected the weapons, as I think this is the most systematic way to get every ultimate weapon with the least friction. I hope you can follow my footsteps and obtain every ultimate weapon in the game. With that out of the way, let's talk about the first weapon to get. In my opinion, the sword, also called the Lurking Luan, is the easiest to obtain without another level 8 weapon in hand. So let's start with this. To get this weapon, you need to play the final battle against the Yellow Turbans and disband Zhang Bao's large force within 15 minutes. It may look challenging at first glance, but there are actually plenty of time if you follow this guide. The idea is to follow Liu Bei's route, which will eventually lead you closest to Zhang Bao, as compared to other routes. At the start of the battle, defeat as many officers for the coalition army as you can. I suggest to defeat this group of officers near the gate before returning to follow Liu Bei. Once you defeated the enemies in front of the gate, you can just let the others take over from there. Go ahead and return to Liu Bei. Over here, you need to defeat Zhou Chang. He is a pesky one, but you should have no problem taking him down. Once done, continue your journey and follow Liu Bei. Help him clear any enemies in the path, and he will eventually position himself at the top of the cliff and prepare to launch an ambush. At this point, you can make a detour to help the other members of the coalition army, particularly Huang Fusong or Zhu Jun, who may sometimes struggle on their own. Once you are done being helpful, you can return to Liu Bei and launch the ambush. Head directly to attack Zhang Bao, but he will eventually cast a spell to stay hidden. Use your Eyes of the Sacred Bird to detect where the sensor is and proceed to destroy it. As soon as the sensor is destroyed, Zhang Bao's spell will end, and you can go take down Zhang Bao. Focus your attacks on him, and once he is defeated, the battle would be won. Congratulations! If you completed all these under 15 minutes, you should get the Lurking Luan. The next weapon I suggest to get would be the Rampaging Luan, which is the level 8 Halberd. To get this weapon, you need to defeat Lu Bu in the Battle of Hulao Gate. Contrary to popular belief, this challenge is easier than most people think, as there isn't a time limit. Another reason to get the Halberd now is that it is arguably the best category of weapons, and with this, it will make subsequent challenges easier. After the battle starts, proceed as normal. Run around to capture some bases and defeat as many enemies as you can. Not long later, Zhang Liao would appear to attack the main base, and it would be good to go protect the base. Once Zhang Liao is taken care of, run around to capture bases and defeat enemy officers again. Once all available bases are captured, the coalition army would be ready to launch an assault on the large force in the middle of the map. Go ahead and join the assault. After you defeated the large force, Lu Bu would join the battle. There is no need to fight him during this phase of the battle, but you can just try to damage him a little. Eventually, Dong Zhuo would command Lu Bu to attack our main base. Then Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei would engage Lu Bu in a fight. It is now that you should engage Lu Bu with the help of the trio. Be patient and slowly chip Lu Bu's HP down. If you are low in HP, feel free to go to nearby bases to get some buns, as there is still plenty of time. It will be a long and tedious fight, but with some patience, you should be able to defeat Lu Bu. As long as you defeat Lu Bu before Liu Bei, Guan Yu, and Zhang Fei are all defeated, you should be good. Once Lu Bu is defeated, the rest of the battle is easy. Go ahead and complete the battle and the Rampaging run would be yours. You can now try to get the Flying Run, which is the level 8 spear. To get the spear, you need to defeat Qu Yi within 3 minutes in the Battle of Jieqiao. This is a relatively straightforward challenge, but the difficulty here is that you need to be really quick. Thankfully, by now, you should have a couple of level 8 weapons, and equipping one of those will help make this challenge easier. Qu Yi is hidden in this battle, and you won't be able to find him on the map. However, at the start of the battle, Liu Bei will say that the back of the hill is a good place for an ambush, and that is exactly where you can find Qu Yi. Once the battle starts, run straight to this area. You should be able to find Qu Yi here. Use your Eyes of the Sacred Bird if you have trouble spotting him. Once you found him, concentrate all your attacks on him. You should be able to take him down without much problem, especially if you are using a level 8 weapon. If you still have difficulties completing the challenge, you can always use items such as strength or stamina potions to improve your chances. After you have defeated him in less than 3 minutes, simply complete the rest of the battle and you will get yourself the Flying Run. Now let's move on to the Striking Run, which is the level 8 Gauntlet. In order to get the weapon, you need to defeat Sun Ce at the Battle of Xiaopei within 10 minutes. 10 minutes may sound short, but you actually have ample time. Once the battle starts, run straight to where Sun Ce is, the base at the middle of the map. Try to grind down his HP as much as you can. However, this is not the place where you will defeat him. After a short while, Yuan Shu will order Sun Ce to retreat. Follow him to his new location at the base to east of the map. Over here you can duel Sun Quan. Defeating him will lower enemies' morale by a bit, and that will be helpful in your fight with Sun Ce. From now on, focus all your attacks on Sun Ce. He is not difficult to beat, and you should still have loads of time remaining if you have followed this guide so far. Once you have defeated Sun Ce, you just need to complete the rest of the battle and the Striking Run would be yours. By now, you should have obtained 4 ultimate weapons if you have followed the guide. Let's now get the 5th weapon, the Soaring Run. The Soaring Run is the level 8 Podao, and you have to defeat Li Dian and Yu Jin at the Battle of Bowangpo before the fire attack is launched. It will take about 5 to 6 minutes for Guan Yu and Zhang Fei to capture the bases needed to launch the fire attack. Hence, once the battle begins, rush through the center path to where Li Dian and Yu Jin are. Then focus all your attacks on them. By now, you should have the level 8 Halberd. I think it is a good weapon to use here, as it has many good battle arts with wide area of effect. There will be many other enemy officers in the area who will also be fighting you, most notably Zhang Liao. So, remember to bring some items that can help you survive the attacks. Watch your HP, be patient, and you should be able to take down the 2 officers before the fire attack starts. After that, simply complete the battle and you got yourself the Soaring run. I will now talk about the Singing Run, which is the level 8 wheels. In order to get this weapon, you need to defeat Liu Biao in the Battle of Xiangyang. As you might know, this is the battle where Sun Jian fell and Sun Che was forced to retreat upon his father's death. In essence, this challenge is a race to defeat Liu Biao before Sun Che reaches the escape point. At the start of the battle, go ahead and take the 2 bases at the northeast. The reason for this is to help balance the morale, and that will help Sun Che survive later on when he needs to escape. Once you have taken the 2 bases, go ahead and defeat as many officers you can see on the map. At this point, a cutscene will trigger and Sun Jian would have fallen. Sun Che would then start his escape. Do not panic, finish up whatever officer that you have already started fighting, then proceed to the base at the south to help Sun Che. Once you have captured the base to the south, Sun Che will start to move to the escape zone. From this point onwards, you have about 12 minutes to defeat Liu Biao. Rush to defeat the enemies at the southern castle gate. Defeat them as quickly as you can, so that you can order your troops to knock open the gate. After the gate is opened, rush to where Liu Biao is and focus all your attacks on him. Be patient. There is actually still quite a lot of time because Sun Che would likely be held back by enemy reinforcements. Eventually, Liu Biao should fall and the battle would be won, with you claiming the level 8 wheels as the reward. Next, let's look at how you can acquire the Bellowing Run, which is the level 8 twin pikes. In order to get the weapon, you need to defeat Zhang Liao at the Battle of Xiapi without using the flood attack. Here is the plan. I suggest to first capture the base slightly towards the south of where you spawn. Then, I recommend to go to the base to the west and wait for Lu Bu to appear. Doing this will force Lu Bu to withdraw so that he won't be a threat to Cao Cao while you are fighting Zhanglo later. In addition, defeating Lu Bu will also boost your troops' morale, and that will make your fight against Zhang Liao a bit easier. When you first encounter Lu Bu, you just have to bring his HP down to about 50% and he will retreat. Note that he will appear again later in the battle, but you can't ignore him during his next appearance. Once Lu Bu retreated, morale will be boosted heavily and it is now a race against time. Run straight to the front gate of Xiapi Castle, where Zhang Liao is, and fight him directly. Zhang Liao is quite tanky, but you should have ample time to defeat him before the floodgate is taken. After Zhang Liao is defeated, the enemies guarding the gate would defect and open the gate for you, and the rest of the battle would be easy. Go ahead and complete the battle so that you can claim the level 8 twin pikes. Now let's watch how to get the Whirling Run, which is the level 8 lance. To get this weapon, you need to defeat Zhang Fei and Zhao Yun at the Battle of Changban within 11 minutes. Once the battle begins, I suggest to run straight to this base and open the gate. This should be the shortest path to Zhang Fei. Capturing the base is optional, as the other side of the gate should also open without the base being captured. Regardless whether you capture the base or not, you should eventually make your way to the bridge and face Zhang Fei. Zhang Fei is extremely tanky, and it took a while for me to realize that I can attempt to run past him, and it will trigger a duel. It is much quicker to defeat him in a duel. After defeating Zhang Fei in the duel, you either have to wait for Zhao Yun to arrive, or catch up with him to engage him in a fight. He can be knocked off his horse and will engage you in a fight. He is not as tanky as Zhang Fei, and you should have no problem defeating him with the time left. However, you should still aim to defeat him as soon as you can because Liu Bei is also escaping while you are fighting Zhao Yun. Once Zhao Yun is defeated, Liu Bei might be very close to the escape point. Rush to where he is and fight him directly. Bring his HP down to about 20%, and Liu Bei would escape regardless. Now you can claim victory with the Whirling Run as your reward. The final two weapons are the Thrashing Run, which is the level 8 staff, and the Conquering Run, the level 8 Crescent Blade. In my opinion, these two weapons are the most difficult to obtain. Let's first learn how to get the level 8 staff. To get the weapon, you need to complete the Battle of Chibi within 21 minutes. As you can see, Cao Cao's nagging at the start already wasted us 90 seconds, and effectively you only have about 19 minutes to complete the challenge. Nonetheless, here is the plan. Once the battle starts, aim to defeat all enemy officers on the eastern side of the map as quickly as you can. This is because Cao Cao would escape to the northeastern part of the map after the enemies set our ships on fire. Any surviving enemies on the eastern side would then move towards the north to block Cao Cao's path. Hence, it is important to defeat all enemies on the east. I recommend to first engage and defeat Zhao Yun in a duel to start lowering enemies' morale. Also, capture the base at the southeast to stop some of the annoying flaming arrows. Once done, go ahead and defeat all enemy officers on the east side. After you have defeated all enemies on the east, feel free to fight some of the remaining enemies if you still have time. At this point, you are just waiting for the ships to catch fire, and Cao Cao would begin his escape. Eventually, with around 10 minutes left on the clock, the fire will light up, and you will be teleported to the southern side of the map regardless where you are. Now, rush over to the center of the map, where Huang Gai is, and keep him occupied. The reason for this is to make sure he doesn't hinder Cao Cao escape. You don't need to defeat Huang Gai. After seeing Cao Cao running past you on the map, stop fighting Huang Gai and rush to the northwestern part of the map. Zhu Yu would appear, leading some other officers to stop Cao Cao from escaping. At this point, all you have to do is to hold off Zhou Yu and friends to allow Cao Cao to make it to the escape point. While it is nice if you can defeat some of the officers, it is not required. Throw whatever you have against this group of enemies. Your companions and your war god rage would come in handy. Just make sure that no enemy officer slips through you and chases Xiaopei. If you have followed the guide so far, Xiaopei should have no problem reaching the escape point under the time limit. Once Xiaopei escapes, the battle would be over, and the level 8 staff would be yours. Congratulations. By now you should have collected 9 out of the 10 ultimate weapons. We are now left with the most difficult weapon to get, in my opinion. The Conquering Luan is the level 8 Crescent Blade, and to get this weapon, you need to defeat Guan Yu before he returns to Xiapi Castle during the assault on Xiapi. After making countless attempts, this is the method which I find having the best chance of success. I suggest bringing the stamina potions so that you can use your battle arts more often against Guan Yu. I will take Xiahou Dun as my companion so that I can spawn nearer to this base at the west. At the start of the battle, I will go ahead and capture this base. This is because Liu Bei and Zhang Fei will appear once you start fighting Guan Yu. If you do not take this base, there is a very high risk of Xiaopei being defeated before you defeat Guan Yu. However, do not capture any more bases, as doing so would tip the morale too much to our favor. Bringing the morale too high would lead to the troops on the eastern side to get very close to the floodgate. If that happens, Guan Yu would rush over to defend the floodgate. And when Guan Yu is away from the castle gate, our troops will begin to storm the gate, and the gate would be opened very quickly. Once the gate is opened, Guan Yu will retreat to Xiapi Castle, and you have no chance to defeat him. On the other hand, if you continue to take the base further to the west and confront Liu Bei, Guan Yu would ride over to help Liu Bei. This will also trigger our troops to storm the castle gate, which leads to the same outcome. Hence, I suggest to simply rush over to the front of Xiapi Castle and fight Guan Yu after you capture the first base. When fighting Guan Yu, focus your attacks on him, but take down some soldiers around him to build up your Musu gauge. Guan Yu would use his Musu attack when he is down to about 70% HP. Ideally, you should have already built up your Musu to use War God Rage when he starts to use his Musu attack. Your War God Rage would be the best counter against Guan Yu's Musu attack. If you have yet to build up your Musu gauge, just try your best to dodge the attacks. Continue to grind down Guan Yu HP. Be patient as you still have time. I find dodging Guan Yu attacks more effective than attempting to parry. Eventually, you should defeat him before Liu Bei and friends defeat Xiaopei. Once you have defeated Guan Yu, rush over to Xiaopei's location and help him survive. Once Liu Bei and Zhang Fei are defeated, the castle gate should be opened and you can just go ahead and complete the battle. At the last part of this battle, Guan Yu will reappear, but he would be much weaker than before, and it should be an easy fight. I wish you luck, and if you followed this guide, you should be able to get the Conquering Luan without much problem. Congratulations! You have successfully obtained all the ultimate weapons in Dynasty Warriors Origins. If you find this video useful, consider giving it a like and subscribe for more. Also, if you think there are better ways to get those weapons, do leave a comment and I will try it out. By the way, I have also done a video on how to achieve all fate-altering events so that you can unlock the true endings for all factions. If you would like to know how, check the video linked in the description. Thanks, and see you in the next one.